Have you ever imagined you could eat bread, potatoes, and rice again without fear? No carb counting. What I'm about to share isn't magic. It's a simple doctor-approved method that's changing the lives of people with diabetes. From small towns to big cities, diabetics are discovering they don't need to cut out the foods they love. They're eating their favorite meals and watching their numbers stay stable in ways they never thought possible. Forget insulin dependence. Picture yourself enjoying a warm piece of bread at dinner, a baked potato with your meal, or a bowl of rice, without that anxiety of what your monitor will show later. This method doesn't require giving up comfort foods or living on salads forever. Just one simple technique that works with your body's natural rhythm. It's like finding the missing piece your doctor never told you about. Stop avoiding carbs. You'll feel freedom again at the dinner table, confidence when eating out, and relief knowing you're not sacrificing your health. No expensive supplements, no complicated meal plans, just real science that makes carbs work for you instead of against you. People everywhere are calling it their carb freedom method, and it's easy to understand why. Stay with me until the end, because I'll reveal exactly how to apply this doctor-approved technique step by step, starting with your very next meal. You'll be amazed at how your body responds, and if you're ready to enjoy food without guilt again, write carb freedom in the comments. It shows others that living well with diabetes is possible. What if I told you the food everyone says will destroy your blood sugar could actually be your ally? That sounds crazy, right? But thousands of diabetics are proving doctors wrong every single day. They're eating what they were told to fear, and their glucose monitors are showing numbers that shock even their physicians. I remember meeting Margaret at a local community center last year. She was 73 and hadn't touched a potato in over a decade. Her doctor had scared her so badly about carbs that she lived on bland chicken and steamed broccoli. Her face looked tired, her energy was gone, and she told me she'd given up on ever enjoying food again. Margaret's story isn't unique. Across the country, millions of people with diabetes are living in constant fear of their favorite foods. They've been told that one bite of potato could send them to the hospital. They avoid family dinners, skip social gatherings, and feel isolated because food has become the enemy instead of nourishment. But here's what nobody tells you about potatoes. When eaten correctly, with the right preparation and at the right time, potatoes don't have to spike your blood sugar at all. In fact, potatoes contain resistant starch, especially when cooked and cooled, which actually helps regulate glucose levels instead of destroying them. The secret isn't to eliminate potatoes from your life forever. The secret is understanding how to make them work with your body instead of against it. Moderation isn't about tiny portions that leave you hungry and miserable. It's about eating a reasonable amount in a way that supports stable blood sugar throughout the day. Stop living in fear. When Margaret learned this method, everything changed for her. She started with small portions, prepared the right way, and monitored her response. Within 2 weeks, she was eating a medium-sized potato with dinner 3 times a week, and her morning readings were better than they'd been in years. Here's what makes potatoes special when you prepare them correctly. They're loaded with potassium, which helps your body manage blood pressure. They contain vitamin C, B6, and fiber that support overall health. When you cool them after cooking, the starch structure changes into something called resistant starch, which behaves more like fiber than sugar. This resistant starch feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Those bacteria produce compounds that actually improve insulin sensitivity, so the potato that everyone fears becomes a tool for better glucose control. It sounds backwards because it is backwards from everything you've been told, but science backs this up completely. The key is in the preparation. Boil or steam your potatoes instead of frying them. Let them cool completely, even refrigerate them overnight if possible. When you reheat them, that resistant starch remains intact. Eat them with a source of protein and healthy fat, like grilled chicken with olive oil, and watch what happens to your blood sugar. Portion size matters too, but not in the way you think. A medium potato about the size of your fist provides enough satisfaction without overwhelming your system. You're not eating a massive baked potato loaded with butter and sour cream. You're eating a reasonable portion prepared intelligently as part of a balanced meal. Forget bland diets. Margaret told me that the first time she ate a potato after 10 years, she actually cried. Not because her sugar spiked, but because it didn't. She felt normal again. She felt human. That simple food brought back memories of her childhood, of family dinners, of feeling connected to life instead of trapped by disease. Your body needs carbohydrates to function properly. Your brain runs on glucose. Completely eliminating healthy carb sources like potatoes can actually make blood sugar control harder, not easier. When you restrict too much, your body fights back with cravings, binge eating, and metabolic confusion that makes everything worse. Studies have shown that people who include moderate amounts of properly prepared potatoes in their diet often have better long-term glucose control than those who eliminate them completely. The reason is simple. Sustainable eating beats perfect restriction every single time. You can't maintain a diet that makes you miserable forever. Think about the nutrients you're missing when you cut out potatoes entirely. Potassium helps prevent muscle cramps and supports heart health. Vitamin B6 supports nerve function, which is crucial for diabetics who worry about neuropathy. Fiber keeps your digestive system healthy and helps moderate blood sugar spikes from other foods you eat. When you eat a potato with skin on, you're getting even more fiber and nutrients. The skin contains antioxidants that fight inflammation, which is a major factor in diabetes complications. Leaving the skin on also slows down digestion, which means a gentler rise in blood sugar instead of a sharp spike. No more guilt. Margaret now eats potatoes regularly, and her A1C dropped from 8.2 to 6.4 in 6 months. Her doctor couldn't believe it. She didn't eliminate carbs, she didn't start some extreme diet. She just learned how to eat real food in a way that supported her health instead of destroying it. The method works because it respects how your body actually functions. When you eat carbs with protein and fat, digestion slows down. When you include fiber from vegetables, absorption becomes gradual. When you use resistant starch from cooled potatoes, your gut bacteria help regulate glucose response naturally. Timing matters too. Eating your potato at dinner rather than breakfast often works better for blood sugar control. Your body's insulin sensitivity changes throughout the day. Evening meals with moderate carbs can actually improve overnight glucose stability, leading to better morning readings that set you up for success all day. Margaret started walking for 15 minutes after dinner, which helped even more. Light movement after eating helps your muscles absorb glucose without needing as much insulin. Combined with properly prepared potatoes, this simple habit transformed her numbers completely. She felt energized instead of exhausted, stable instead of shaky. The psychological impact of being able to eat normally again cannot be overstated. When you're not afraid of food anymore, stress levels drop. Lower stress means lower cortisol. Lower cortisol means better insulin sensitivity. It's a positive cycle that builds on itself, creating better health outcomes across every measure. You don't need to suffer to manage diabetes. You don't need to eat like you're being punished for being sick. Food should nourish your body and feed your soul. Potatoes, prepared correctly and eaten in moderation, can be part of a healthy diabetic diet that actually brings joy back to your meals. Margaret's grandchildren noticed the change in her first. She started attending family barbecues again. She stopped sitting alone while everyone else ate. She participated in life instead of watching from the sidelines, isolated by fear and misinformation about what she could and couldn't eat. The potato method works for sweet potatoes too, by the way. Sweet potatoes have an even lower glycemic impact when prepared the same way. Roast them, cool them, and eat them with healthy fats and protein. The orange varieties are packed with beta-carotene and vitamin A, supporting eye health, which is critical for diabetics. Imagine sitting down to dinner tonight with a beautiful plate of food, grilled salmon, roasted vegetables, and a medium-sized potato with herbs and olive oil. You eat slowly, you enjoy every bite, and 2 hours later your blood sugar is perfectly stable. That's not a fantasy. That's what this method delivers when you apply it correctly. Margaret says the best part isn't even the numbers, though those are incredible. The best part is feeling free again. Free from constant anxiety. Free from social isolation. Free from the prison of restrictive eating that made her feel broken and hopeless. Food became friendly again, and with it life became worth living fully. But potatoes are just the beginning of what you need to know. There's one simple spice that makes everything I just shared even more powerful. When you combine this spice with your properly prepared potato, something remarkable happens in your body. Your cells become more receptive to insulin. Your glucose absorption slows down even further, and your blood sugar stability reaches a whole new level that most diabetics never experience. This spice has been used for thousands of years, and modern science has finally proven why it works so incredibly well. Keep watching, because what I'm about to reveal about this spice will change how you think about managing blood sugar forever. What if the answer to stable blood sugar was sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now? Most people walk past it every single day without realizing they're ignoring one of nature's most powerful tools for glucose control. This isn't some exotic supplement from the other side of the world. It's something your grandmother probably used in her apple pie. I met Robert at a diabetes support group 3 years ago. He was 68 years old and taking 4 different medications to control his blood sugar. His pill organizer looked like a pharmacy, and every morning felt like swallowing a handful of defeat. He was spending over $300 a month on prescriptions, and his numbers were still unpredictable. Robert's frustration was visible in everything he did. He checked his glucose monitor obsessively, 15 times a day, always anxious about what the numbers would show. He felt like a prisoner to his condition, controlled by pills and fear. His wife told me he'd stopped going to church because he was embarrassed about having to test his blood during services. Then someone at the group mentioned cinnamon, and Robert laughed. He actually laughed out loud. He couldn't believe something that simple could make any difference when expensive medications weren't working. But he was desperate enough to try anything, so he started adding half a teaspoon to his morning coffee without telling his doctor. Within 2 weeks, Robert noticed something strange. His after-breakfast numbers, which usually spiked to 180 or higher, were staying below 140. He thought his meter was broken. He bought a new one. Same results. By week 4, his fasting glucose dropped from an average of 135 to 108, and he hadn't changed anything else about his routine. Stop wasting money on pills. The compound in cinnamon that makes this possible is called cinnamaldehyde. This powerful substance mimics insulin in your body, helping your cells absorb glucose from your bloodstream more efficiently. It's like giving your cells a key that unlocks the door insulin is trying to open, but cinnamaldehyde does something even more impressive. It slows down the breakdown of carbohydrates in your digestive system. Remember those potatoes we just talked about? When you sprinkle cinnamon on them, or consume it with your meal, the glucose release becomes even more gradual. Your blood sugar rises slowly and gently instead of spiking sharply. Studies from multiple research institutions have confirmed what traditional medicine knew for centuries. People who consume cinnamon regularly show significant improvements in fasting blood glucose levels. Some studies showed drops of 20 to 30 points in just 40 days of consistent use. That's the difference between pre-diabetic and normal ranges for many people. The type of cinnamon matters tremendously. There are 2 main varieties: Ceylon cinnamon and Cassia cinnamon. Ceylon is called true cinnamon and comes primarily from Sri Lanka. Cassia is more common in supermarkets and comes from China and Indonesia. Both work, but Ceylon is safer for daily use because it contains much less coumarin, a compound that can affect your liver in high doses. Robert switched to Ceylon cinnamon after learning this, ordering it online for about $15 a pound. That pound lasted him 4 months. Compare that to his $300 monthly medication bill. He wasn't replacing his medicines without doctor supervision, but he was giving his body powerful additional support that actually worked. The recommended amount is between half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon daily. Robert started with half a teaspoon in his morning coffee and another half teaspoon sprinkled on his dinner. He mixed it into Greek yogurt, stirred it into oatmeal, and added it to his protein shakes. Finding ways to include it became easy once he made it a priority. No more dangerous spikes. Here's what happens in your body when you consume cinnamon regularly. Your cells become more sensitive to insulin, meaning they respond better to the insulin you're already producing. This is called improved insulin sensitivity, and it's the holy grail of diabetes management because it addresses the root problem instead of just treating symptoms. Cinnamon also reduces inflammation throughout your body. Chronic inflammation interferes with insulin signaling and makes blood sugar control nearly impossible. By fighting inflammation at a cellular level, cinnamon helps restore the communication pathways between insulin and your cells. Your body starts working the way it's supposed to work again. The antioxidants in cinnamon are incredibly powerful too. They're called polyphenols, and they protect your cells from oxidative stress caused by high blood sugar. When glucose levels stay elevated, they damage blood vessels, nerves, and organs through a process called glycation. Cinnamon's antioxidants slow this damage significantly. Robert's doctor noticed changes at his 3-month checkup. His A1C had dropped from 7.8 to 6.9 without any medication adjustments. His triglycerides were lower. His blood pressure had improved. The doctor asked what he'd changed, and when Robert mentioned cinnamon, the doctor didn't laugh. He said several of his patients were reporting similar results. The beautiful thing about cinnamon is how easy it is to incorporate into any eating style. You don't need to follow complicated recipes or prepare special meals. Sprinkle it on your morning toast, stir it into your coffee or tea, add it to smoothies, mix it with almond butter, dust it over roasted vegetables or sweet potatoes. Some people make cinnamon tea by steeping a cinnamon stick in hot water for 10 minutes. This creates a soothing drink that supports blood sugar control while providing comfort and warmth. Robert's wife started making a big batch every morning, and they'd drink it throughout the day instead of sugary beverages. Forget expensive treatments. The cost difference between cinnamon and diabetes medications is staggering. A 4-month supply of quality Ceylon cinnamon costs less than 1 month's copay for most diabetes drugs. You're supporting your health with food instead of flooding your system with synthetic compounds that often cause side effects. Cinnamon also helps with sugar cravings, which is a game changer for most diabetics. When your blood sugar stabilizes, those intense urges for sweets diminish naturally. Robert said that within a month of using cinnamon daily, he stopped thinking about desserts constantly. The mental obsession with food quieted down, making healthy eating feel effortless instead of like constant willpower. The way cinnamon interacts with the potatoes we discussed earlier creates a synergistic effect. The resistant starch from cooled potatoes feeds beneficial gut bacteria. Cinnamon reduces inflammation and improves insulin sensitivity. Together, they create an environment in your body where glucose regulation becomes smoother and more predictable than either one achieves alone. Robert started combining his strategies. He'd eat a moderate portion of cooled, reheated potatoes seasoned with cinnamon and herbs. His blood sugar response to this meal was better than his response to plain grilled chicken and salad used to be. He was eating more satisfying food and getting better results. That's when he truly believed he could live well with diabetes. The time frame for seeing results varies by person. Some people notice improvements within days. Others take several weeks of consistent use. The key word is consistent. Sprinkling cinnamon on your food once and expecting miracles won't work. This is about creating a daily habit that supports your body's natural ability to regulate glucose. Clinical research suggests that cinnamon works best when combined with other healthy lifestyle factors. It's not a magic bullet that lets you eat recklessly and ignore exercise. But when added to a foundation of reasonable eating and light activity, it amplifies your results significantly. It's the difference between struggling to maintain control and achieving stability that feels effortless. Robert's transformation over 6 months was remarkable. His medication needs decreased under his doctor's supervision. His energy levels soared. He lost 18 pounds without trying because his appetite naturally regulated when his blood sugar stabilized. He started hiking with his grandchildren, something he hadn't done in 5 years. The emotional shift was even more dramatic than the physical one. Robert stopped feeling like a victim of his disease. He felt empowered, knowledgeable, and in control. He understood that his body could heal and regulate itself when given the right support. That mental shift changed everything about how he approached his health and his life. Now, everything I've shared with you about potatoes and cinnamon is just the beginning of what's possible when you understand how to work with your body instead of against it. But here's the truth. There are 5 more powerful strategies that work even better when combined with what you've just learned. These methods have been tested by thousands of diabetics who are now living without constant fear and blood sugar roller coasters. I've put together a complete video that shows you the entire doctor-approved method step by step. You'll discover the exact foods to eat, the perfect timing for your meals, and the simple daily habits that make controlling blood sugar feel effortless instead of like a constant battle. This is the complete system that's changing lives across the country. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now to watch the full presentation. You'll see real people sharing their results, doctors explaining the science, and the complete blueprint for eating bread, potatoes, rice, and other carbs without spiking your blood sugar. Don't wait another day living in fear of food. Click the video now and discover how freedom from blood sugar anxiety is closer than you ever imagined.